January 1971. Do you know why this day is special? This day, one day international was played for the first time. 60 overs match. Maximum a bowler could bowl 12 overs. Australia against England was the first match played at the MCG. But what about India? What was India's position? Let me start the story. ODI created a new perspective of cricket to the world. However, India wasn't considered as strong as in ODIs at that point in time. Batters like Captain Sunil Gavaskar were known for their ultimate command on their technique and defensive approach towards batting. India began with a weak team in ODIs with the first match played against England on 13 July 1974 at Leeds. England won the toss and elected to field first. India was debuting team with our debuting ODI captain Ajit Wadekar. He is also one who has captained in the debut match. I thought only Amir Khan has done that. Ajit Wadekar scored a 67 along with Brijesh Patel scoring 82. India was all out scoring 265 in 53.5 overs. England's best bowling figures were by Chris Old, 3 for 43. England had to score 266 for their victory. It was an easy task for England as John Edrick scored 90 of 97 deliveries. Quite fast according to those days, who eventually won the Man of the Match award as England was victorious. In 1975, the first time history witnessed Cricket World Cup. The tournament was sponsored by Prudential Assurance Company and had 8 participating countries which included West Indies, England, India, Pakistan, Australia and New Zealand along with associate countries like Sri Lanka and East Africa. India in this tournament won against East Africa with 10 wickets. Sunil Gavaskar and Farooq Engineer scored 65 and 54 respectively. Farooq Engineer was rewarded the Man of the Match award. The team was led by Srinivasa Raghavan Venkata Raghavan. This was India's only World Cup victory till 1983. East Africa is no such country. Alike to West Indies, this is a group of countries including Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania and Zambia. Infamous 1975's Gavaskar scored 36 of 174 balls not out. India scored 132 for 3 and lost by 202 runs against England. 1979 Cricket World Cup was also sponsored by Prudential Assurance Company. This World Cup even Canada qualified along with Sri Lanka. It is hard to find optimistic points of this story as India didn't even win a single match. West Indies was not a team, it was a killing machine. They had won both the World Cups and hadn't lost a single match until 1983. 1983 World Cup, officially known as the Prudential Cup. According to the professionals of that era, Australia and West Indies was the predicted final. Along with Sri Lanka, Zimbabwe qualified for their first World Cup. Kapil Dev was handed over the captaincy. David Frith, a senior journalist, said that he would eat his words if India wins the World Cup. Predicting India's victory in the World Cup after analysing the past performance was almost impossible. India began their World Cup preparations with a loss against minor countries by 19 runs. The twist in the tale was when India won against the West Indies by 34 runs. This was a confidence booster as no one anticipated it. India won the next match against Zimbabwe by 5 wickets. India's next match was against Australia and Australia won the match comfortably by 162 runs. Kapil Dev's fiver was in vain. The West Indies killing machine was ready to avenge their loss against India, and they avenged quite comfortably by 66 runs. Dilip Vengsarkar was hit by the delivery by Malcolm Marshall. After that delivery, Dilip Vengsarkar got 7 stitches and was ruled out of the cup. All of a sudden, India was in a situation where the next game against Zimbabwe was a do or die. On this day, BBC was on strike, so this match couldn't be recorded. India won the toss and elected to bat first. India lost quick wickets and therefore led Kapil Dev to be present on the pitch when the score was 9 for 4. Who knew that this would be the day when Kapil Dev's 175 of 138 balls would never be recorded but still be admired. India scored 266 for a loss of 8 wickets and won the match by 31 runs and kept themselves alive in the World Cup. India entered the semi-finals as won against Australia by 118 runs. India vs England and Pakistan vs West Indies were the semi-finals. The media said that England vs West Indies is going to be the final. Well, one of the predictions was right, but not the second. India won the semi-final against England by 6 wickets and entered the finals. 25th June 1983 was the day when the game was going to be played. West Indies won the toss and elected to bowl first. India was all out for 183. Still, India fought for each run and won the 1983 World Cup by 43 runs. Mohinder Amarnath was awarded the Man of the Match award and he scored 26 of 80 balls and took 3 wickets by giving only 12 runs. But how was India's performance rather than the World Cup? India fielded a strong team in test matches, particularly strong at home. India had a combination of stylish batters and Belgian spinners who were at their best. India set many test records, such as India set a test record in the third test against West Indies to win 403. Vishwanath's 112 secured India's victory. On November 1976, the team established another record by scoring 524 for 9 declared against New Zealand at Kanpur without any individual batter scoring a century. There were in total 650s, highest score by Mohinder Amarnath. This innings was the 8th instance in Test cricket where all 11 batters reached double figures. After the victory of India in the World Cup, India performed poorly in the Test arena, including 28 consecutive Test matches without a victory. India won the Asia Cup in 1984 and won the World Championship of Cricket in Australia. Still, India was a weak team outside the Indian subcontinent. India's last Test series victory in the year 1987 remained the last Test win by India outside the subcontinent for the next 19 years. The 1980s saw Gavaskar and Kapil Dev at the peak of their careers. Gavaskar made a test record of 34 centuries as he became the first man to reach 10,000 run mark. Kapil Dev became the highest wicket taker in test cricket with 434 wickets. In 1981, the first ODI was played in India at Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Stadium of Ahmedabad, Gujarat. The match was played between India and England. England won the match by 5 wickets. In the year 1987, the sponsors of the cup and the venue changed. The tournament was sponsored by Reliance and was played in India and Pakistan. This was the first World Cup that was being played outside England. The two hosts were eliminated in the semi-finals and the West Indies team did not proceed from the group stage. This was really surprising for the public. 1989. Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar made his international debut in November 15, 1989 against Pakistan in Karachi at the age of 16. Nowadays, 18 is the youngest age I have spotted in under 19 cricket. In the year 1990, a 17-year-old Tendulkar slammed his maiden test ton against England in Manchester and then became the second youngster after Mustaq Mohammad to score an international test century. In the year 1992, Pakistan won their maiden World Cup title by beating England by 22 runs. The World Cup was hosted by Australia and New Zealand. This World Cup sponsor was Benson and Hedges. England entered the Cricket World Cup final for the second time and lost chasing it. Mohammad Raziluddin was the captain of our team in those days. Moving on in 1992-1996, India was again tagged with the title of a weak team. In the year 1996, India won their first match against Kenya and began the World Cup campaign. Indian team was really good in the tournament. India won the quarter-final against Pakistan by 39 runs. India had to win against Sri Lanka to enter the finals, but that day. Sri Lanka scored 252 as Roshan Mahanama and Arvinder De Silva scored half centuries each. In those days, the equation was India is equal to Sachin Tendulkar. Unfortunately, after a lively 65 by Sachin Tendulkar, he got stumped out. Certainly after that, Indian team began to collapse. India was reduced to 120 for 8. The displeased fans lit up the stands and the Sri Lanka was granted a free victory. Kamil walking back in tears was an enduring image of the contest. Eventually, Sri Lanka won the World Cup by 7 wickets.
We got it in our eyes, we had to leave and we actually had to come back and play a sixth day and make up the town. But I didn't expect this from Indian crowds who are knowledgeable, they love the cricket. You expect them to come and want the home side to win, that's natural, of all home supporters. But here to actually opportunity if you win it, to take a decision. If you take the right one, as Azharuddin got the bird today for getting out for naught, and all the hopes and dreams of the Indian people have all gone up in smoke. and unfortunately they can't take it. They can't take the disappointment of losing.
Of the game, but the behavior of the crowd, and it's been a long time since a match has been abandoned, and you can literally see the tears in the eyes of Vinod Kamli. He knew that he was only a step away from a World Cup final, but he'll have to live another day to see that occasion. What he can do now is to walk into the Sri Lankan dressing room, shake their hands and say, well,
Sachin is equal to India. This equation was getting stronger and stronger. The year 1999, Australia became the second team after West Indies to win their second World Cup. Australia won the World Cup by defeating Pakistan by 8 wickets. This World Cup is known for the standing ovation received by Sachin Tendulkar. Sachin Tendulkar's father's unfortunate demise led him to India for his cremation. As a result, India lost against Zimbabwe. Sachin Tendulkar immediately after the final rites went to London as his team needed him. He played the next match against Kenya and scored a century and dedicated it to his late father. The whole stadium applauded the legend. Now the dark era of cricket started. Match fixing. Sachin Tendulkar states that this was the worst time in the history of cricket. Indians were upset. This was the time when people said if India loses, the match is fixed, and if wins, then the opponent team is weak. This point, India needed a tough opponent. So, BCCI planned a series, the Australia Tour of India 2001. The first test match was won by Australia by 10 wickets at Wankhede Stadium. Hayden and Gilchrist scored centuries each. People now expected the least they could expect from the team. The second test match, Steve Waugh scored a century along with Hayden scoring 97. Australia scored 445 runs in total. On day 1, Harbhajan Singh claimed a hat-trick, taking the successive wickets of Ponting, Gilchrist and Warne. India was all out, scoring 171 in total. The obvious happened: follow on. This is demoralizing. Follow on is demoralizing. And the time Indian players were being criticized all over the globe. Indian openers Shiv Sundar Das and Sadgopan Ramesh were dismissed for 39 and 30 respectively. After the first wicket, VVS Lakshman stepped on the crease, followed by Sachin Tendulkar scoring 10 runs and Ganguly scoring 48. After these wickets, the Rahul Dravid stepped on the crease. The partnership between VVS Lakshman and Rahul Dravid helped India survive the test. VVS Lakshman scored 281 and Rahul Dravid scored 180. India in total scored 657 for 7, declared and gave a target of 384. Australia was bowled out for 212, stating Matthew Hayden being the highest scorer, scoring 67 of 118 balls. The third test match was a roller coaster ride. Australia batting first scored 391 as Matthew Hayden scored 203. India's bowling attack was led by Harbhajan Singh as he took 7 wickets after giving 113 runs. Shiv Sundar Das and Sadgopan Ramesh gave India a good start as they scored 84 and 61 respectively. VVS Lakshman scored 65 and secured runs for the team. Then Sachin Tendulkar stepped in and just contributed a century to his record. Rahul Dravid stood like a wall and scored the rest 88. Colin Miller and McGrath took 3 wickets each and Shane Warne and Jason Gillespie took 2 wickets each. India's total score was 501. Australia in the second innings scored 264 in total. Australia was stabilized by Mark Waugh's 57. This time again Harbhajan Singh was the hero for India with the ball. He gave 84 runs and took 8 wickets. VVS Lakshman being the highest scorer for India scored 66 and India went to win the test match by 2 wickets and won the test series 2-1. People seemed happy. They again started to see Indian team as their heroes. The year 2002. If you observe the number, it starts with 2, then 2 zeros and again 2. At Wankhede Stadium, Andrew Flintoff took his shirt after England's win over India.
Bowled in! It's all over for India. Flintoff takes his shirt off. As you would expect, England have won the 6th One-Day International and more importantly,
the NatWest series final, India had to play the best cricket as England scored 325 in total. Mark Tresthottik and Nazir Hussain scored 109 and 115 respectively. Zahir Khan had the best bowling figures as he took 3 wickets and bowled at the economy of 6.2. Virendra Sehwag and Saurav Ganguly gave India a good start as they scored 45 and 60 respectively. The middle order collapsed. Yuvraj Singh brought India back into with his 50 along with fired Mohammad Kaif scoring 87 not out. India won the trophy by 2 wickets, but the highlight was the revenge by Saurav Ganguly.
Full toss. They go for the single this time. A throw and a miss. They're going to get back for two. India are home. Lords goes wild. Zahir Khan punches the air. Mohammad Kaif is going down to celebrate with his fans.
This team had built confidence among the Indians and were confident about their victory in 2003 World Cup. 2003 World Cup. Co-hosted by South Africa, Kenya and Zimbabwe, saw numerous upsets in the tournament. For example, Shane Warne went home in disgrace after he tested positive for using a banned substance. Still controversial decision, the Duckworth-Lewis rules and misreading it for South Africa's loss by a run. England fortified the match with Zimbabwe as there was a political unrest in the country and much more. But this World Cup saw the fastest delivery ever bowled. Shoaib Akhtar bowled the delivery speeding 161.3 kilometers per hour against England. India entered the finals after a victory over Kenya by 91 runs in the semi-final match. India versus Australia at Johnsonburg. Australia batting first scored 359 runs. Ricky Ponting scored 140 not out. India lost Sachin Tendulkar early after scoring 4 runs. Sehwag scoring 82 and that was the highest run scorer for India. India lost the final by 125 runs. Sachin Tendulkar was awarded the man of the series, but in an interview he said that the trophy he wanted was not in his dressing room but in the opponent's dressing room. Next few years were not so great in the history of cricket India. In the year 2007, India lost against Bangladesh in the World Cup and were knocked off in the league stage against Sri Lanka. This was extremely disappointing. But MS Dhoni, with an underdog team and a rebooted young team, went to South Africa for the first ever T20 World Cup. India entered the finals and against them were the Pakistan. India won the final by 5 runs as Srishant took the catch. India winning the cup against Pakistan was just a cherry on the top of cake. Indians were overwhelmed. From the year 2008 to 2010, India was in a winning streak. 2008, IPL was introduced and India got one more place and to find some talented and capable youngsters. 2011, the dream year was here as India hosted the World Cup along Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. India had a great tournament and they won the quarterfinal against Australia and then against Pakistan. But the real test was when they had to face Sri Lanka, who had numerous legends of cricket. This was the first time when in the finals there were both Asian teams. Sri Lanka winning the toss chose to bat. Mahila Jayawardene scored 103 and took Sri Lanka to achieve a huge score of 274. Zahir Khan and Yuvraj Singh got 2 wickets each along Harbhajan Singh who got 1. Sachin Tendulkar and Virendra Sehwag opened the Indian innings. Virendra Sehwag was out on a duck. Then Gautam Gambhir stepped on the crease. For some time it appeared as if now Tendulkar and Gambhir will have a good partnership, but then it was a big blow. Sachin Tendulkar nicked the bat and out. Pin drop silence at the Wankhede Stadium. Sachin Tendulkar was walking out and Virat Kohli was walking in. Wait, how metaphoric! India got a stabilizing partnership between Gautam Gambhir and Virat Kohli. But this partnership did not last long enough. Virat Kohli got out after scoring 35 runs. As expected, and what was happening throughout the tournament, Yuvraj Singh was the next batter. But, a twist in a tail. MS Dhoni stepped in as India needed him. Just Indians didn't know that. 23rd December 2004. The young MS Dhoni walks in, young lad from Ranchi. Oh, he's run out. He's departing without troubling the scoreboard. 2nd April 2011. MS Dhoni and Gautam Gambhir brilliantly playing the match. And then Gautam Gambhir got out on 97. Extremely unfortunate. This match was sliding again out of India's pockets, but MS Dhoni stood there. 5 required of 12. Yuvraj Singh on strike takes a single. 4 required of 11. MS Dhoni on strike, and then
Dhoni finishes off in style. A magnificent strike into the crowd. India lift the World Cup after 28 years. The parties start in the dressing room, and it's an Indian captain who's been absolutely magnificent in the night of the final.
they said, "You cannot hear pictures." I said, "Yeah, I can." Some pictures. Really special. Very, really special. India's feet don't stop here, but they go on and on. Cricket in India is not just a game, it's an pride, unity, and emotion. It has gods. It is just like a new religion.